news coming in now. Punjab government has appointed senior advocate Rajwinder Singh Bains as special public prosecutor. He will be appearing on the sacrilegious cases for the government. Remember, this is an effort being made by the current chief minister to really assuage the sentiments of all those who have been upset with his predecessor, Captain Amrinder Singh, over the manner in which the government handled these cases. Let me go straight to Arun Dhata, who's joining me live. Arun, the question here is that it is the Advocate General who has gone ahead and made this appointment and chosen that this will be the special prosecutor, public prosecutor representing the government on these cases. That means, for the moment, the Advocate General is not being replaced.
Well, that's right. He has not been replaced, but the same thing happened as the Chief Minister had also said 2-3 days ago that they will have a special team to pursue these cases related to sacrilege. And today the order has come out that R.S. Bains will be the special public prosecutor who's going to pursue all the sacrilege-related matters in different courts, trial courts, Punjab, Haryana high courts, along with the few of the other lawyers with him. So it's a kind of demand which Navjot Singh Sidhu has been talking about, and it seems that this one demand out of 5 has been agreed upon. So it's a kind of victory for Navjot Singh Sidhu, because he was basically demanding that these cases should be pursued by somebody who does not have any relation to it in the past, because we know that APS Deol is somebody who was fighting against the government in the court. He was the lawyer of one of the accused in this case, and that was the bone of contention for Navjot Singh Sidhu.
The question here is, can this be seen as victory for Sidhu, or should this be seen as the Chief Minister having managed to have a middle path or having managed to have his own way? Because the Advocate General is continuing. Here is a new battery of counsel who will be managing the case, which is not the same as replacement of the Advocate General, because Advocate General, it was about his appointment that Navjot Singh Sidhu had raised objections to. Arun Dhata, thank you so much for joining us.
पार्टी ने उन्हें हमेशा सम्मान दिया और 2 बार 9.5 साल करीब मुख्यमंत्री रहे। दूसरे वरिष्ठ नेता जिनको उनकी तुलना में बहुत कम अवसर मिल पाए, उनसे श्री अमरेंद्र सिंह जी को अपनी तुलना करनी चाहिए।
See, this orchestrated holism is not part of Congress culture.
Decisions taken in, let us say, trust of each other, which should not and must not be discussed in public.
Since the rise of the Modi regime, the Congress has had one standard response when it comes to electoral setbacks. It has repeatedly said that there is a need for major surgery instead of just introspection. But the recent weeks have shown that the state of implosion continues as the party has turned into a loose coalition of warring camps and turf wars which continue to weaken it ahead of critical elections. Let's look at Punjab, one of the last standing bastions of the Congress, which goes to the polls in the next 4 months. There is a delicate ceasefire after Navjot Singh Sidhu quit as Punjab Congress chief over the cabinet formula pushed by Charanjit Singh Channi, the new chief minister who comes from Sidhu's own camp. Sidhu is having his way for now, with sources telling CNN News 18 that Rana Gurjeet Singh and Sidhu's pick for DGP are being pushed out by the state government, but it remains to be seen whether it actually happens. But the crisis is likely to return when the ticket distribution takes center stage. Meanwhile, after resigning as Chief Minister, Captain Amrinder Singh is set to launch a solo offensive against his party because he is still in the Congress. After meeting Home Minister Amit Shah and NSA Dowal, Captain Amrinder Singh sent a message to the Gandhis saying the Congress is clearly on the back foot in Punjab. He said that the only pressure he faced was his loyalty to the party, asking the High Command what hold does Sidhu have on the party that he is being allowed to dictate terms. It's not just Punjab. The Congress seems to be imploding in Goa as well, where 9 Congress leaders, including the former Chief Minister of the state, joined the Trinamool Congress, praising Mamata Banerjee as the alternative and formidable force against the Modi government. There are rumblings in Meghalaya as well, with former Chief Minister Mukul Sangma and multiple MLAs being unhappy with the Congress High Command as the TMC eyes an expansion beyond Bengal. In Chhattisgarh, the turf war continues between Bhupesh Baghel and T.S. Singhdeo over the Chief Minister's post, with Baghel sending a letter of support from 57 MLAs to the Congress High Command. We all remember the war in Rajasthan between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot, and even though the Rajasthan Chief Minister prevailed, that fight is also far from over. Amidst all of this, the G23, that is the group of Congress veterans, have called for reforms and internal dialogue to improve the party's organization, demanding elections for a full-time president to turn things around. But that latest pitch, which came from Kapil Sibal, was only met with protests from Congress workers. Even Randeep Surjewala promised that CWC, that is the Congress Working Committee meeting, will be held soon. But there is no date or timeline so far. The Congress is facing a leadership crisis and the crucial election season kicks off early next year, which will set the stage for the 2024 battle. In fact, the chaos in the Congress is only allowing regional parties like the Trinamool Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party to aim for national expansions into other states, eating away at the Congress base, giving them the confidence of being the prime challengers to the BJP juggernaut. And that brings us to the question that I'm asking on News Epicenter this evening. Is the Congress still the national alternative to the BJP, and can it really lead the opposition charge in 2024? Joining me on the show, Supriya Shrinate is the Congress spokesperson, Pawar Verma, former MP, author, ex-diplomat, Sanjay Gupta, leader of the Shiv Sena, Guru Prakash, representing the BJP, Riju Datta from the TMC. Supriya, forget about your political opponents, the BJP. Your own ally in Maharashtra, that is the Shiv Sena, is saying that if there is no commander, then how will the party fight? What will you be telling to the Shiv Sena?
No, this is what you're quoting to me. I haven't heard the Sena say that. But to the larger question that your show is aiming to raise, please point me in the direction of another political party which has a national footprint like the Congress. I don't want to sound smugged here. I don't want to sound arrogant. But the reality is that Congress is the only anti-BJP party which has a national footprint. We are the only party in direct contest with the BJP on at least 200 of the over 540 seats in the country. And so to say that the Congress can be replaced by another regional party, if I may say, is political naivety. That's all that I will say right now. However, I do want to point out to one very important thing. Whether it is the failures of the Modi regime in the last 7 years, or the latest corona crisis, or unemployment, or the economic ruin that one has seen, or other various issues. If there is one single opposition leader who is consistently holding the government accountable and putting it into the dock, I think it is Rahul Gandhi, and which is why our opponents, and if I may say, the people across the political spectrum, across the aisle in the opposition, believe that he can bring everybody together. And the latest parliament session is proof of that. Maria, just last 10 seconds. Just last 10 seconds.
Go ahead.
It's proof of that. He could stitch together 17 parties that went ahead and met the farmers. He could stitch together 17, 18 parties that have been raising consistent issues like Pegasus or high prices or unemployment.
Okay.
Which other political leader in this country can do that today?
But Supriya, look at what the TMC is saying. The TMC said that in the last 7 years, the TMC has defeated the BJP in all elections, and that the Congress, in fact, has been defeated by the BJP in all elections, and hence you are misfit in many ways to lead the opposition. We have seen what has happened in Goa. There are murmurs in Meghalaya as well.
I'm glad you asked me that question because I want to answer that question and want to place some things on record. This make-believe electoral juggernaut that the BJP is made out to be is a fallacy, and I will tell you why. After 2017, barring Bihar, where we actually lost with a difference of eventually only 12,000 votes between the RJD and R alliance and the BJP and the JDU alliance, other than Assam, the BJP has lost every single state. The fact that they've been able to form governments is thanks to money power and thanks to using agencies the way they do, which is like their own frontals, whether it's the ED, CBI or income tax. The reality is, whether it's Karnataka or whether it's Madhya Pradesh or whether it's Goa or Manipur, they have formed governments by usurping power and by toppling democratically elected governments.
Okay, Guru
Now,
Prakash will
you
respond
believe
to
that's
that.
Charakiniti, I believe that's brazen pursuit of power.
Guru Prakash, respond to that, and then I bring in the two allies of the Congress party.
Maria, this is precisely the problem which the spokesperson from the Congress party has raised, that they are living in a state of denial. Without any concrete evidences, you are making some accusation. I believe there is a judicial process in the country. I believe there are courts in the country. You can always go to the court and approach them without making these brazen allegations here. I'm happy that Supriya ji made a point about Bihar, and it was Bihar where the Congress party contested 70 seats. And you know how many seats they won? Maria, you very well know, and you very well remember it was Congress party that is responsible for the plight of Mahagathbandhan today.
Yes.
The Congress party today, there are calls from within the party, and the sheer arrogance, the sheer sense of entitlement that they are entitled to rule forever. This is the problem of the Congress party. You use a Dalit as a figurehead and you don't allow that Dalit to make his own council of minister, to select his own officers. What
Riju
sort of
Datta,
ceremonialism and symbolism is this? I want to ask you tonight.
Representative who is saying clearly that on over 200 seats, it's a direct contest between the Congress and the BJP, and they are the only opposition party, and rightly so, which has national footprints. You may say that it is shrinking footprints whatsoever because you are also eating into what is seen as Congress states. You know, you have moved to Goa, you have the former chief minister with you now, you are also looking at expanding your footprints in Meghalaya as well. But isn't your growth coming at the cost of the Congress party?
First of all, Maria ji, I want to make it very clear that our fight is not against the Congress. Our fight is to save India, and for that it is, and its constitution, and for that it is essential to defeat the BJP. We, under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee and our dynamic General Secretary, Abhishek Banerjee, our single point agenda is to oust BJP from the center in 2024. We are a party that is expanding from Bengal. We have defeated the formidable duo of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. We are going to Tripura, we have gone to Goa, we are going to other states. You have seen one ex-chief minister join. There are many ex-chief ministers joining very soon.
So all
it's a very
these
exciting
ex-chief
time for us.
ministers and former leaders are of the Congress party. Sushmita Dev was the head of the Mahila Congress.
Maria ji, let me just finish. So any political personality from any political party that aligns with our vision going into 2024 is more than welcome in our party.
No, but
We
are you
have to
also
get
saying
rid of BJP.
that the Congress is misfit to lead the opposition, and that is the reason
See,
why you have to
I'll
come
tell
up
you-
with an alternative?
I'll tell you, I'll give you the Goa example. In Goa, the people of Goa did not vote for BJP. They voted for Congress. Congress failed to keep their flock together. Now the ex-chief minister, two-time ex-chief minister of Goa, and a person who was in charge of the all 7 northeast states have joined TMC. So Congress needs to introspect. I think Congress's vision and mission both are a little blurred right now. We are not in fight with the Congress or anybody else. Our mission is to defeat BJP, to remove BJP.
Supriya,
And
this
that
is
why,
exactly
as a
the
credible
concern. The concern that
as a
is being
credible
shared by your
alternative.
ally about, by a party which is like-minded clearly, that you do not have clarity over leadership. And that is something that is not being said by your opponents or even other parties. These are voices coming from within. Look at what Salman Khurshid has said, what Mr. Sibal has said, and others from within. And it is because that their concerns are not addressed that many who are seen as young Congress leaders have left you, have deserted you, be it Sushmita Dev or Jitin Prasad or Jyotiraditya Scindia.
Maria, I will answer your direct question, but I want to take 10 seconds to answer a point that was raised by the BJP spokesperson. And because it is said so many multiple times across multiple shows, I think it's important that I place the record right. Mr. Channi is the first Dalit Chief Minister of Punjab, and I take immense pride in the fact that it was the Congress party
I can
who
see
could
Mr.
do
Pawan
that.
Verma also
You
joining
have
me on the
government
show.
in 70
Mr.
states.
Pawan Verma, I'm just coming to you in just a bit. Let
me just
Supriya,
finish.
yes, Supriya finish a point. Yes, go ahead.
So a very small point I want to raise is that yes, I'm very proud about the fact that Mr. Channi is the first Dalit Chief Minister of Punjab in its history of existence. But he is not the first Dalit Chief Minister for the Congress party. You have government in 17 states. Please point me one more state. You want to know something more, and please indulge me for 5 seconds here. We have 3 Dalit INC presidents: Jagjeevan Ram, Sita Ram Kesri, Damodaram Sanjeevaiah. The Congress made India's first Dalit president, K.R. Narayanan. The first Dalit Chief Justice of India, Mr. Balakrishnan. The Dalit Chief Ministers of Congress party are Damodaran Sanjeevaiah, Bhola Paswan Shastri, Ram Sundar Das, Sushil
Maria.
Kumar Shinde, Jagannath Pahadia, and Charanjit Channi. 1 second. We had the first Dalit woman speaker of the Lok Sabha and the first leader of opposition who's a Dalit in the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Kharge. So please do not tell us lessons about how we do or do not respect Dalit. We do respect their aspirations. As far as the question that you raised about the young, Maria, I with all the respect, because some of these people are good friends of mine.
Yes.
Opposition politics is a different kind of politics. Opposition politics requires you, उसमें आपको परिश्रम करना पड़ता है, उसमें आपको लड़ना पड़ता है. You need patience. You need a tougher metal. I think a lot of people who have quit did not believe that they wanted to fight for an idea that their parents or they themselves stood for. It's very different to be in the treasury benches versus being in the opposition. You have to have the appetite, the stomach to put up a fight. And I think the people who stay with the Congress right now are the ones who are willing to fight, who are willing to put up, and who will have the appetite to take on the might of the mighty Indian state.
Okay. Mr. Pawan Verma, the Congress is the principal opposition, but several of their own have raised questions about leadership vacuum. Gandhi is not taking calls, not available, and we have seen a number of them quitting as well. My question is, given the state of affairs from Punjab to Goa to Chhattisgarh to other states and also members of G23 raising questions, is the Congress really fit to lead the opposition in 2024? And if they are not, then who really is going to be that leader of some kind of coalition of opposition?
Thank you, Maria. It's like this. What does the Congress stand for? Apart from the legacy of the past, where it stands for certain values, a vision for India, which was enshrined in the Constitution and the founding fathers articulated. The Congress essentially today stands for that pan-Indian entity which provides opposition to the BJP. And it has a role cut out for that, if that indeed is what it is. It is the party which in about 250 seats takes on the BJP directly, where the BJP has currently a strike rate of 94% against the Congress. Now, if the opposition has to organize itself to take on the BJP behemoth in 2024 or whenever, you have to focus on these 250 or 300 seats, because in other states, several states, other parties are holding the bastion against the inroads of the BJP. If the Congress can deliver on this responsibility, which it proudly claims to be its as the pan-India opposition party, well and good. But by any objective analysis, with due respect to Supriya, because I'm sure she also introspects, the Congress is today ridden by 4 kinds of paralysis. One is a leadership paralysis. I'm not talking about the personal good intentions of the leader. It's a perceptional battle, a leadership paralysis, an organizational paralysis. There is the paralysis of decision making. You mentioned Punjab. I know in Chhattisgarh, Mr. T.N. Singh Deo has been promised that he will be taking over the second half of the term of Chhattisgarh. But the decision is being postponed. In most cases, the can is kicked down the road. Decisions are not taken in time to be efficacious. And lastly, there is the failure or paralysis of an opposition party which can harness the discontents against the BJP, which are pervasive and manifest. Now, if the Congress cannot play this role, which indeed it is entitled to play, then politics like nature abhors a vacuum. Then some other entity, maybe a strong regional party which becomes pan-Indian, consciously, in order to fill that vacuum, some other entity is bound to step in because of the space volitionally ceded by the Congress.
But
That
Mr. Pawan
is the
Verma, that
dynamics
looks
of the
like a
situation.
10-year project. Any other party will take years, or if not decades, to really ensure that they become pan-India. Let me bring Sanjay Gupta.
That's the
Sanjay
matter
Gupta.
of assessment.
Yes. Sanjay Gupta, I'll come to you, Supriya. Sanjay Gupta, Samna editorial has been very critical of the Congress party. What really is happening? क्या हो रहा है?
इतिहास और विरासत इतनी बड़ी है कि जिसके आगे कांग्रेस के किसी भी नेता की इतनी अहमियत नहीं है जितनी अहमियत आज कुछ नेता दिखा रहे हैं। चाहे वो G23 के नेता हो, चाहे वो मिस्टर सिद्धू हो, अगर इनको कांग्रेस पार्टी इनकी उद्दंडता पर इनको निकाल भी देती है तो कांग्रेस को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। मगर जिस तरह से कांग्रेस पार्टी का नेतृत्व इन लोगों को अपनी बैसाखी बनाने की कोशिश कर रही है और इनके खिलाफ, इनकी उद्दंडता के बावजूद भी इनके खिलाफ एक्शन लेने की बजाय इनको पार्टी में शामिल जिस तरह से किया हुआ है, उससे कांग्रेस पार्टी की अपनी छवि खराब होती है। किसी भी पार्टी को चलाने के लिए उसका नेतृत्व, उसका डिसीजन, ये सबसे अहम होता है। हम पिछले 2004 से एक चीज देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से कांग्रेस के कुछ नेताओं ने इस तरह के बयान दिए कि जो इस तरह के बयान थे जिससे पार्टी की छवि बहुत धूमिल हुई। जैसे कि दिग्विजय सिंह ने एक बयान दिया एक अजमल कसाब के मामले में, हिंदू आतंकवाद। इस हिंदू आतंकवाद का मतलब क्या कांग्रेस के आला अधिकारियों को समझ में नहीं आया? हिंदू आतंकवाद का मतलब होता है सभी हिंदुओं को आतंकवादी कहना, मगर कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व ने उसके खिलाफ किसी भी तरह का एक्शन नहीं लिया।
आज का नेतृत्व के बारे में भी आप बोल रहे हैं, आपको लगता है कोई लीडरशिप वैक्यूम है जिस, क्योंकि आपके जो एडिटोरियल है हाई कमांड का क्वेश्चन कर रहा है कि कौन कमांडर इन चीफ है?
देखिए, आज कांग्रेस, आज शिवसेना कांग्रेस के साथ गठबंधन में और जो अपने साथी होते हैं उनकी कमियों को भी बताया जाता है। तो जिस तरह से चलती हुई स्टेट के अंदर, पंजाब के अंदर जिस तरह से डिसीजन लिया गया और जिस तरह से ये इनक्रेडिबिलिटी थी फैली, तो इससे चिंता व्यक्त की जाती है और अपने को सही सलाह भी दी जाती है, उनकी कमियों को भी बताया जाता है। तो ठीक इसी तरह से
तो आप अपने होकर के अपनी कमियां बता रहे हैं कांग्रेस को। फाइन इनफ। रिजू दत्ता, 20 seconds to you and then the final words to Supriya.
Call a national party on a show like this, na Baba?
Yes.
ये आपका problem है।
TMC, go ahead, Riju.
Yeah, that is why I don't understand. Other people have done it very smoothly.
Riju, go ahead. Okay, there seems to be some problem with Riju Datta there. Supriya, let me give you the final words. The question here is, these are your allies and they are expressing concerns. It should be seen from that perspective rather than criticism.
And that's exactly why people within the Congress can also go out there in public platforms, criticize us, question us, debate and dissent. That's the beauty of the Congress party. We do not tell these people to sit in a Margdarshak Mandal. We don't make them fight with each other, make one minister like Ravi Shankar Prasad was made after defeating Shatrughan Sinha and then drop him at convenience. I think the beauty of the Congress is that we allow this dissent to happen. The problem, and I accept as a youngster in the party, is that perhaps these people speak too publicly and give ammunition to our opponents, which they should not. So मेरा सिर्फ ये मानना है कि अगर हमें भाजपा को हराना है, हर लाइक माइंडेड पार्टी को साथ आना पड़ेगा, जो संजय गुप्ता जी की बात है, जो रिजिजू जी की बात है, लेकिन the Congress will have to be the fulcrum of that. I am not saying that with arrogance. I am only saying that with political pragmatism.
10 seconds to you,
and
Sanjay
I think that
ji.
should be appreciated.
10 seconds to you.
देखिए, मैं एक बात ये कहना चाहूंगा कि जब कांग्रेस के कोई भी नेता जब बयानबाजी करते हैं तो उसका मतलब वो पूरी कांग्रेस की तरफ से बयानबाजी होती है। तो किसी भी तरह की ऐसी बयानबाजी, देखिए जैसे कि आप क्या कहते हैं आपका, नहीं आप एक मिनट रुकिए भाई साहब, प्रभु क्या नाम है आपका, जैसे कि अजमल कसाब के मामले में हिंदू आतंकवाद का शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया गया, जैसे कि शादी प्रज्ञा के मामले में भगवा आतंकवाद का शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया गया, जैसे कि राम मंदिर के मामले में।
We'll be taking it forward some other time. Thank you so much for joining us, Riju Datta, Guru Prakash, Sanjay Gupta, Pawan Verma, and Supriya Shrinet. Let's continue with this discussion because this is a story which is still developing. As we have seen, the Congress party quite literally is imploding. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.